The conservative movement is, I don't want to say it's breaking in two right now, but it's definitely going through some growing pains over the issue of Israel. You guys have been watching it, so have I. We've been right in the middle of it, all of us. I have wondered to myself how Charlie would have navigated this, because if there's one group Charlie knew better than anyone, it was young people. And he saw the split on this issue of Israel coming amongst the young folks before most, since he was so in touch with them. And yet he has, as you guys know, Turning Point has got many Jewish donors who did not feel as the young group feels and wanted him and Turning Point to be much more supportive of Israel. And now that that's only gotten worse, in the past couple of months, it's such a tricky issue. And I have asked myself many times, I wonder how Charlie would be handling this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's an issue that Charlie thought about a lot, talked about a lot. And you're correct. He saw the sort of crack-ups that we're having today coming several years in advance, because he spoke to young people a lot. He read the emails they sent in. He could see the polls. He always would look at what the polls were saying about what sentiment was. And he would talk about this in private too. So you mentioned donors and all of that. He would talk to our supporters who were Jewish or just generally big Israel supporters. And he would say, one thing you guys need to understand is young people are a lot less supportive of Israel. And he would try to chart out, I think, a viable future on that issue, where he would say, guys, we have to be able to make the case that supporting Israel is an America First position. And if we can't do that, we may have to choose a more moderate path forward, where it might be we don't give them as much financial support, but we might still give them moral support. We can still back them up in other ways, but that a big thing driving a lot of the anti-Israel sentiment was when you have overt financial support going to such a degree to another country. And he was always trying to chart that out ways. We were discussing that even up to the point of his assassination. What are arguments we could make towards people who are hostile to Israel, and also what can we make to supporters of it to try to hold the coalition together? Because but it's
very hard, Blake.
Yeah,
trust me when I tell you,
it is very hard.
If you want to make space for both sides of that discussion, there is one side that will insist you not.
Yes.
The sort of Tucker, more isolationist wing of the Republican Party that's been highly critical of Israel is now, according to the more polite people who are neocon-y, no longer allowed. You're not allowed to have that discussion. And it's one of the things, I've been trying to make space for both sides to discuss it. I know you guys have too. It's very infuriating because it's just the one side who says you're not allowed to let that other side in.
Well, so what he would say is what he wouldn't have room for, and what he would say is he has no room for actual anti-Semitism, Drew hate, as he called it. No room for it anywhere on the right, because we're not a hate-based movement. And he would also say, okay, we are an American political movement. You must clearly articulate our political principles in terms of making America the number one priority and the American people the number one priority. And so he would emphasize those key points. And then he would talk about, I think what he would often emphasize is, guys, it's a huge problem if attacking Israel or criticizing Israel is some sort of top issue on the right. That's why he talked about Islam so much in the last few months of his life. He was saying, guys, the clear threat to Western civilization that is unfolding, that is spreading across Europe and coming into America, is Islamization. And also, the Mamdaniism, the various third world resentful ideologies. And those are the things that are poisoning the West. And we absolutely need a united front against those things. And we should be able to unite on that issue. And we can't allow something like criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu to break apart the coalition when there's things that are far more important for us to be worrying about.
Yeah, and I agree. Yes. I agree with that. Charlie was very much, I'm an American. I should be allowed to criticize my own government. I should be allowed to criticize other governments, even if that government is Israel, right? And I think I was a part of a focus group with Charlie at the Student Action Summit in July. You were there, Megyn. And, it was an interesting thing because we asked these kids, what are your feelings about Israel? And these were kids from all over the country, different geographies, different types of schools, Stanford to, state colleges and everything in between. And most of them were not antagonistic per se to Israel. They just wanted the freedom to be able to to have opinions that, we're not orthodox American foreign policy, for the last 60 years, right? So they wanted the freedom to be able to say and believe those things without being called an anti-Semite. And that was the space that Charlie was carving out, basically saying, you can have these opinions and you can still be a part of the club. You don't have to feel a certain way about Israel to be a part of America First, or be part of MAGA, or part of the conservative movement. And so that was the course that he was charting. And I think we're still devoted to that and committed to that here at Turning Point and at the Charlie Kirk Show, because we don't want to say, hey, you can be a part of America First if you feel a certain way about another country. Now, Charlie had opinions.
As long as you love Israel.
Yeah.
As long as you totally support Israel.
Exactly. That makes no sense, I think, on so many levels. Now, Charlie had certain opinions about Israel, and he would go through point by point. I actually did a tweet on this week, Megyn, about, and I showed 4 examples of Charlie working through very patiently with students their concerns about the U.S.-Israel relationship. But he didn't start resorting to ad hominems. He didn't resort to name-calling or saying that you're a bad person. It was like, hey, we're going to go point by point by point through your concerns, and I'm going to agree with you where I can. And, yeah, we probably shouldn't, have foreign involvement in the United States government. But he basically had a very morally clear stance that, listen, we are for America first, and you can have a wide-ranging opinion on this matter, and let's talk about it.
Andrew, let me ask you about how Turning Point is doing, because you were updating us for a while in the number of chapters that kids have opened. There were, I think, a total of 2,000 chapters between high schools and colleges at the time Charlie was killed. And then there was a huge surge after his assassination by young people wanting to be a part of the group. Where do things stand now?
Yeah, I think there was 2,200 altogether, approximately, when Charlie was killed. And yeah, we had a surge of inquiries. So that was, a lot of people were talking about that. It was 136,000 inquiries to start new chapters, or something incredible. It was just an insane number. I think at this point, the starting chapters is actually quite a tough process, but we're at doing 50 a day right now. 50 new chapters are starting across the country at either a high school or a college campus every day, which, if you know the amount of work that takes to start those chapters, you understand how insane that is. And the field team is doing such incredible, heroic work, and the pulling off the tour. You have to understand, a lot of people I don't think have put this together. That field team that did those tours that you were a part of, that Glenn Beck was a part of, that Tucker was a part of, so many of these governors. It was the same team that was at UVU, and they were there when Charlie was assassinated. And they kept that tour going out of just sheer sense of duty and honor to continue Charlie's legacy. And when we wrapped that tour up, we told most of them, please take some time off. You deserve this. Go, you need to take time for yourself and to heal and to grieve. But they every single one of them, Megyn, said, we're going to keep this going because we love Charlie and we need to keep the mission going. And I don't know, there's not words enough to express my gratitude and my admiration for them because of just how difficult that was. And, we had a meeting with somebody here at the office. I saw
it myself.
Yeah. And we had a meeting with somebody at the office.
These young staffers, who were clearly still in mourning, who were there at Virginia Tech putting on this event. We got to do business as usual for Charlie. Go ahead, finish your thoughts.
Yeah, no, and, we met with one of them here at the office after the tour wrapped, and it was, tears in her eyes, and, you could tell she was still grieving. She was still hurting, and she's one of the leaders of the tour. And I was just, it's like I said, I can't express to you enough how proud I am of that team, of her, and I hope they take their time and they come back and stronger and just understand what they accomplished, because it was truly heroic.
My friend just lost her ring. She went to replace it. She realized it was a gold ring. The price of it has gone up 25% since she bought the ring a year ago. That's because gold is on the march upward. And it is the one time of year that Birch Gold Group gives away free gold with every qualifying purchase. That's right, for Black Friday, when you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, Birch Gold will send free gold to your home for every $20,000 purchased. Gold started this year around $2,600 an ounce. By October, it was over $4,000 an ounce. Why? Global uncertainty. 2025 has been defined by trade wars, central banks are pulling from the US dollar as the global reserve currency, and military tension continues to build. Gold thrives in times of uncertainty, and if you are looking to diversify your savings, Birch Gold can help you. Plus, now through November 30th, get free gold, I say, with a qualifying purchase. Just text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and for a free info kit on gold. But your opportunity for free gold with purchase will end on November 30th, so don't wait. Text MK to the number 989898 for full details. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.